Uh, we want to use this medium to welcome all of you to day three of our pre-hearing sessions on the auditing report and a petition forwarded to this court by the NEC to the Office of the National President, His Excellency Orlando Tieblo. Uh, Today we continue the same formality like yesterday. Uh, we want to urge all of our auditees to remain focused and provide a testimony that is only true to this code, because whatever you provide to this code will be used to draw a conclusion or a finding after the entire process. So once more, we welcome all of you, President, the NEC members, the Council of Coordinators, and its head, Honorable, the Honorable Vice President, Hamo Hufin, the Honorable COC1, Honorable Tyler, here, and all members of the Council, Honorable Marcus Sipo Jensen, to come and read the rules that govern this hearing, this pre-trial hearing. So, Honorable Jensen, you are welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Senior Adjudicator. Welcome again, everybody. Our rules remain the same, apart from those that have been invited to be questioned by the board. The rest of the scholars, with respect, are asked not to speak or not to send a text in the chat section. When you speak randomly, we will ask you to leave. Ask the president to remove you. We appeal. Like yesterday, we had no violation. We hope that we continue in the same path. Do not text, do not speak randomly unless you have been asked. If you have a question to ask, you can send your question to any of the JB members and we will ask your question for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Jensen. Those are the rules, and thanks yesterday to every one of you for your cooperation. We anticipate the same today. Today we have two auditees before the court, and they are Honorable Jacob Cephas Johnson and Honorable Noah Macy. So we will have the first person appearing, the ex-president, His Excellency Honorable Jacob Cephas Johnson. So at the pre-hearing today, we will have two of our finalists also who will be presiding. The first session will be presided over by her owner, Honorable Paola Chisman, who is a PhD candidate and who studied here in China, a prolific member of the board. And the second session will be presided over by Honorable Marcus Sipo Jensen, one of our finest, like I said, and who has just earned a master's degree. So we urge all of you for your cooperation as we invite these people to preside and respect the court, because any illegal actions or any illegal things that will be said will be used against you when we go through our final verdict. So having said that, by virtue of the authority I'm invested as senior coordinator of the Judicial Board of Student Union in China, I now call on the high podium her honor to take over Honorable Paola Shisma. You are welcome, Madam.
All right, thank you so much for the time. And we remain on the existing protocol. So at this time, I will read out the agenda for this pre-hearing, and then we will need one of the board members to to declare a motion for this, and then we can accept. Then we begin the process. So we have opening prayer that will be done by me, self introduction, welcome remark. Then we will have the auditee position statement. We will have the time for questions and concern. Then we have our closing remark. So it is now open now for motion. The board members.
Marcos Sipo Jensen, Assistant Adjudicator. I move that the agenda be accepted for our pre-hearing for tonight.
All right. Can we obtain a second?
Okay, Moses Kingsworth Flomo, Senior Adjudicator, also second.
All right. Thank you so much. So I think we can move forward now. So let us pray as we continue this process. Father, we thank you for this time. Thank you for gathering us here tonight as we are about to get into this pre-hearing session. We pray for your leading. We pray for your direction. And we pray that we will have a better understanding on this platform tonight. You are able to do what no man can do. Take control, Lord, and have your will. In Jesus' name, I have prayed.
Amen.
Amen. So now we will have self-introduction. We'll have the board members introducing themselves, and then we have the auditees, which will also introduce himself.
Everyone, I'm Louis Antoinette Williams, adjudicator 2 from Changsha City.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Moses Kingsworth Flomo, Senior Adjudicator, Changchuan City, Jilin Province.
All right. Okay, so if no other board member, I will introduce myself. Paola H. Cheeseman is my name. I'm joining from Wuhan City. I'm also serving on the board, associate adjudicator, and I'm humbled to be your presiding officer today. Thank you for the time. So, Honorable, I cannot see anything again. What is it?
A minute, please.
Hello? Did you hear my introduction or was I muted?
We heard you.
Oh, okay. All right, so at this time we will take our welcome remark by the Honorable Man, Honorable Jensen.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Presiding. On behalf of the JB, we would like to welcome all of you who have taken upon your time to listen to this pre-hearing. We are hoping that we all cooperate as we follow the pre-hearing. Once again, you're welcome, everybody.
Okay. So like we said, today is a pre-hearing session, and we're hoping to Honorable. So give your position statement, ask that please introduce yourself, and you give us your statement and about the audit. So it is also Mr. Johnson. Thank you. I'm not sure Mr. Johnson is here. Is Mr. Johnson around? The former president? Senior adjudicator, what do you think? I don't think Mr. Johnson is here. What what next?
Um, can you get me on a Chisman?
Yes, sir.
So this was a formal communication sent to the ex-president by this board, and for any reason, including attendance, he shall have communicated to the board prior. So the board will give him 10 minutes. We will have a 10 minutes break and await him to appear. If he doesn't appear, we'll have the next presenter. So let's give him 10 minutes break. Or you can beg the audience to just please wait for 10 minutes until Mr. Johnson can appear.
All right. So, student body, honorable president, and members of the JB, we ask for additional 10 minutes to get the former president in person of Honorable Johnson for this hearing. If we cannot get him, then we will have to proceed to the next one. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, I think Honorable Johnson is here. Honorable presiding.
Okay. Honorable Johnson, are you around?
Honorable adjudicator, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So we have been waiting for you to hear from you based on the communication that you receive, and also we want to know your actual position on the audit report. So the time is yours. We ask that you please introduce yourself and then to the point. Thank you. So like we said, this is a pre-hearing session. So you
All
have,
right.
yeah.
Can you hear me, Honorable adjudicator?
Yes,
Uh,
please.
so
We
I
can.
think I was told that I will be here by 10 probably. That's why you see me arriving at this time. However, uh, I will be glad to speak to the Judicial Board today on happenings surrounding the audit. But first, let me begin by introducing myself. I'm Jacob Cephas Johnson, former national president of LSUIC, spanned the period from 2023 to 2025. and that was in July 13, up to the date that I tender my resignation. So all that I will be discussing here with the board will be from July 26, 2023 up until July the 13th when I turned in my resignation because that's the period I know of. So, honorable members of the Judicial Board, just before I delve into what we're here for, I just have some few observation. And the first observation is in proceeding like this, it is expected that when people are invited, whether it is a conference, whether it is a pre-trial, or whether it is a full trial, if I may say in that regards, it is advisable that this board say reason to admit whosoever that will be invited to this board to be placed on an oath that today or tomorrow, if anything comes in as the contrary to what is presented to this board, that person should be held liable based on their statement. That people will not come to this board to lie or to give conflicting statement that may jeopardize whatsoever proceeding. Somebody will say, oh, I just say, maybe I say this because I needed to say, or I say that because I need to say. So when someone is on an oath, whatsoever you take, you say, we take that very seriously. That if we do our investigation and we find out that what you say was a lie, there's a being said blatantly, then there are actions or consequences that comes on judicial proceedings. But you people are the lawyers, you people understand what that means. So it's just my honest appeal that when people come to the board, especially in matters like these, they should be placed on an oath. That's just my observation from what I observed from last night. Second, I'm here today. Let me just say this because I'm before the board. At some point in time, I thought far too long, my person has been disrespected in so many ways. But for the sake of LSUIC, over time, I chose to ignore these things because we all mean good for LSUIC. Let me just say, I could have behaved like other presidents or other leaders of LSUIC. When they are done with LSUIC, they don't care whether you invite them, whether you have something against them. They say, I'm done with LSUIC. I could have done the same. But because we all mean well for LSUIC, I still avail myself to LSUIC whenever I'm called upon. And with critical issue like this, I chose not to extend myself, but to participate fully so that LSUIC yield whatsoever results it is after at this moment. Now, what am I driving at? Distinguished members of the board. Like I said, LSUIC fiscal year, July to July, that is a July to June, and whatsoever time that comes forward to the conference. I served up to July 13, and a new president was sworn in from July 13. That's the same day or the next day, he was sworn in as president. I think if a audit period spanned 2 years from 2023 to 2025, and there are three financial secretaries that are being audited in this process, I do think that there should have been two presidents that should be part of these proceedings. However, I could have again choose the path of the other president because constitutionally, because I think people have been running with the narrative that when it comes to reports, when it comes to finances, the president is this. They are TD people that do this. The president have nothing when it comes to money with LSUIC. However, constitutionally, before funds go outside LSUIC, it has to be with the acquiescence of the national president. That's why proceeding like this, the president or whosoever can be invited to answer to question. For instance, if a financial secretary, if a treasurer comes out and say, okay, these funds that were dispersed, it is at the knowledge of the national president, or he or she authorized it. Then when auditors are doing their audit, they invite the president and say, Mr. President, these are documentations that were presented to us saying that, oh, you were knowledgeable about these funds that went out of LSUIC. How do you respond to this thing? That's how it should be. But for the audit committee to say, oh, the national president is indicted to form part of this audit, and likewise excluding another president who also participated within this reporting period, I don't think the audit board did justice. I thought to point this out to the board. Now, I don't know if I'm allowed here to share my screen, or I will be sending file to
Yes, you
Honorable
can share your screen.
Jency.
You can share your screen, please.
All right. So that just established the perimeter, why I'm here, why I chose to be here. Like I said, I could have ignored this process. Like I told the first time I told the auditors, there are financial secretaries. If you need financial documents, reach out to them. They are available and they will provide those financial documents. Where you deem it fit to invite me for clarity on certain things, I'm always available. Yet still, I'm being inducted into this process, which of course I welcome and I look forward to it. To begin with the management letter issued by the auditors. And Honorable Jensen, I sent you this file because I'm having a little bit of issue opening from WeChat. All other files will be open here as I delve into my presentation. But for this management letter, I didn't save it on my drive and it's not here. So let me just send, and my computer cannot open through WeChat. So let me send to you if you can help me share. Honorable Jensen, if you receive these files, please let me know, please, if you receive. And if you do, please help me to share.
Okay, I received the file already. Honorable Senior Adjudicator, can you please check your WeChat, please?
Which of these files do you want to share?
I think I sent 4 different files. We appreciate all because these are critical documents that establish the ground, work for this presentation. So I want to take us from there into the main details.
Or can I be shared one? Which one do you want to share first?
All right, the first communication is the document dated, uh, just a moment, the May 27. All right. So I'm of the belief that the Judicial Board have copies. When I say copies of the audit documents, I mean the first ever audit findings that were presented before the joint meeting that was held, followed by the final audit letter that was issued on audit report that was issued June 10. So this was my response to the chairman when we first received the management letter. For the sake of everybody, I will want to read this because it is important, please. Not this one first. This was my response. There was a communication from the auditors. It is titled Honorable Blow, May 27. This was my response. I will get to this, but this one, there are five. Yes, thank you. So this was the communication I did receive. Request for management response to 2024-2025 managed and LSUIC financial report queries. And I will just skim through because I want to believe others members may have presented it. For the benefit of this hearing, I would like to delve into it. It says, following our review of LSUIC 2024-2025 financial report, we have identified several issues that require your clarifications and formal written response. The queries are as follows. Balance brought forward discrepancy of 7,578.39 RMB, unexplained use of 2,700 USD, due payment calculations errors 23,220, and data login report 17,730. And we went on to find discrepancy, capturing 525 and reported figures in data logs of TD65, loan repayment discrepancy, conference disbursement, total loan recorded error, refund clarifications to Mr. Johnson, and cancel beneficiary breakdown. Now, in these counts presented for response, I was willing to communicate to each of these positions where I'm knowledgeable of. But most importantly, my attention was drawn to refund clarifications of the funds from Mr. Johnson. But bit by bit, into the brought forward. So when I received this communication from the Auditor General, you can please go, Honorable Kingsford, Your Honor, to my first response. The very same day, the first responded. The file after that, yeah. first respond? Very good. So that very same day, I wrote the auditor and the chair of the audit committee, and the communication reads, Dear Honorable Chairman, I kindly request clarification regarding the gap year 2023-2024, because in the communication I did receive, I only see a year covering 2024 and 2025, and 2023 to 2024 was omitted from that communication because I was previously informed that this audit spanned from 2023 to 2025. Not reported in your management letter, and the specific quarter or period within the 2024-2025 fiscal year, as there were three separate financial secretaries before providing a comprehensive response, should there be one. Based on my recollections, this audit encompasses the period from 2023 to 2025. However, I noticed that the management letter only reflects details of 2024 to 2025, which raises several questions. Honorable Chairman, there appear to be some discrepancy and unreported figures that warrant further discussions. It seems that certain items may have been overlooked or omitted, including Jiangsu Province Treasury funds, Champlain's program expenditure, conference expenditure reports, conference pledges, under-reported dues, conference committee report, Council of Coordinator accounts of funds received. These are significant issues that were not addressed in your management letter, which technically invites questions about the reporting process. Could you kindly clarify the criteria used to to determine these omissions? Who was responsible for the investigation that led to these findings? Were there investigations conducted with the acquiescence of individuals subject to the proceedings? If not, what was the reason? If yes, could you specify the parties that were invited or involved with this audit process? From an understanding of the provisions that establish your committee pursuant to Article 23, Section 4, letter H, Roman letter 3, and review of the management letter, it indicates partial investigative audit proceedings.
Mr. President.
Thank you. I would appreciate your clarity on this matter. Furthermore, I want to state that while I remain dedicated to supporting this investigation, I acknowledge the rigorousness takes, or thoroughness, or whatsoever rigor or whatsoever takes time. If the committee requires approximately 1.5 months to address the non-counts mentioned, I am prepared to respond accordingly, even if it extends beyond the usual 3 days time frame. My response to the non-counts will, of course, depend on your response regarding these inquiries. So that was my first response to the audit committee chair, or the audit committee as a whole. And then I did a follow-up communication, almost, I think it was weeks without any response from the audit committee to my communication. And then I sent a follow-up communication. Even up to today, those communications have not been addressed. The Judicial Board have this communication. Honorable members of the Judicial Board, it is saddening, let me say this, it is saddening for our union that while we all sit and hope for an independent audit, that we all hope for proper accountability to be given for LSUIC funds, I was shocked that certain actions from the audit committee were taken, which of course I don't think it do this audit process justice, or even the very same students that we are answerable to. Why do I say that? Honorable members of the Judicial Board, best to my understanding, when the national president took office July 26 of 2025, the national president, in his first inaugural address, placed major emphasis to this audit process. Thereupon, he appointed, I think sometimes in August, this audit committee, which was subject to confirmation by the Council of Coordinators, which was subsequently confirmed and commissioned by the president. This audit committee at the time began their job. Now, I want you to take note of this time period, or the period we are talking about. And that was before the first quarter, or within the first quarter. So when this audit committee took office, they started their process. I received some communication which I responded to, that those communications or those documents they are requesting can be collected from or received from the financial secretaries who were responsible for financial dealings within LSUIC. Wherever I am needed, I'm open and I'm available to answer any questions. And major thing that I did propose to the audit committee, because at the time they said they only need documents and then they will review. And I said, Honorable Chairman, I may not be an auditor. I have no understanding, if you want to say, when it comes to audit. But based on my knowledge and what I have seen at the national level, if I may reference, when an audit process is ongoing, what happens is you get documents, you review documents. If there are any concerns or whatsoever, you invite parties of interest, of concerns, to be able to clarify these things. If it goes beyond, if there are conflicting views, you can have general conference, which of course I think the Judicial Board is also doing now. We invite all of the parties again to answer to some of these questions that one may have. For example, to cross, reference to both parties, maybe the financial secretary, the treasurer, and that of the national president. Now, I sat down for months and months and months. Nobody from the audit committee invited me to that, because I'm speaking as the president, as in my capacity. What I know, I don't know if they invite audits, but I think last night I listened to one of the auditees here saying that she was also not invited in the former national treasurer and acting financial secretary. Now, I waited for this audit committee to invite us. None. Now, and let me emphasize this. While I was in office as president in my second term, let's start with my first. On a periodic basis, let's say on a quarterly basis, I will speak to the financial officers. Am I being heard? Honorable, please, before I be speaking to myself here.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
Yes.
I will call the financial officers, because at the time, I initiate what we call the check and balance basis between the financial officers. And those financial officers, I will invite them and say, okay, you guys do your book. At the end of the day, you'll come before me and then all the NEC, so that we can do the check and balances to know what LSUIC have, if our bank balance and our book balance commensurate. So in that process, and I want to state one major thing, all that these financial officers will come with will be what you usually receive as financial, or all other scholars can receive here, the quarterly report that quarterly report, that's the same thing they will come and present to me. So at the time of my knowledge, I know that, okay, what in this financial record is what you people are reporting to me. That's what I know of. Quarter by quarter by quarter. So after my first term, there was a general, because we needed from the fourth quarter, there were so many things unexplained. We did not do the check and balance. So I said we need to do a check and balance of this period, especially for the conference committee, which of course I will start delving into documents here. So I call these financial officers to do check and balances. And in that check and balance meeting, the first ever meeting, there were figures that I'm not aware of as a president, especially in terms of expenditure. So why I say I'm not aware? Because before money is disbursed out of LSUIC, that document have to pass to the treasurer, come to me for final approval before that money goes out. So when I saw that there are some things, or there are some overstated figures, I got concerned and I asked, I said, I'm concerned here. Certain figures here are not adding up. And certain funds here is not to my knowledge. So I need clarification on this. The financial secretary at the time, Honorable Moore, she said, I will give you more details at a later time. I agree. No problem. I'm waiting for that. I waited on the financial secretary up until it was in October the 15th. Let me go to, can I share my screen?
Sure, you can.
Yes, you can share your screen.
All right. So if you see here, you will see that this date was August 15. That was already in my second term when this first check and balance was presented by the National Financial Secretary, Honorable Moore. And then after this check and balance, Honorable Moore, when those questions or concerns were raised, Honorable Moore said she would bring another report. I will come to this other document because they are important. Get to them bit by bit, or I will be sharing as I share, I go and speak. As I share, I go and speak. So Honorable Moore came with another document, and she said, Mr. President, these are the updated version, and that was on October 15, when she submitted that document. And in that meeting, again, I told the financial secretary, at the time she has already tendered her resignation. I told the financial secretary, Madam Financial Secretary, I have been waiting throughout for this financial report, and you come again to this check and balance meeting. There are still figures that are still not clear. And when I ask in a meeting, the financial secretary cannot give a genuine answer. And in the words of the financial secretary at the time, going back and forth in a meeting, the financial secretary told me that she's not answerable to me. She answerable to audit. The auditor will ask her if money was stolen or money was not stolen, or if there are concerns or there are no concern in that regards. So I said, okay, hopefully we will have audit committee that will be set up and that all financial records will be checked and balanced and audited by audit committee. Unfortunately, when we went into the middle of my second term, there were only 2 people that signed up for the audit committee. One of whom happens to be someone that was doing, I think, basic accounting and management, even though not audit, because I think the audit in the Constitution have a specific requirement. Now, so only one person technically has some level of accounting knowledge when it comes to audit. So now, you want to do audit, you want people with at least some level of expertise to be able to address these concerns. And so we were unable to commission audit. However, during this period, when Honorable Moore finally, I want us to follow the sequence bit by bit. When Honorable Moore finally turned over financial documents after the first quarter report, she turned over those financial documents. Prior to that turnover, we have only been receiving quarter report. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, annual report. And I know what happened in the back end. I don't know anything. Or even with the financial secretary, when we go into check and balance meeting, nothing. Fortunately, the financial secretary turned over a whole file. When that file was turned over into the financial management group, the then acting financial secretary tried to review the financial records. In reviewing these financial records with the NEC meeting, there were discrepancies start to unveil itself in clear picture. Now, when these discrepancies on a reported figure start to flag out, it got to the attention of the National Executive Committee. When it got to the attention of the National Executive Committee, at the time, we were going to, I think we were heading to the 4th quarter of my term. When those reviews have been finally, they have been accessed, review, NEC have reviewed all of this document. Some of the things that were discovered, like for example, somebody having arrears, maybe 480 or 500 or 320, then we see this person, after the record was turned over in the financial records for the first quarter or the annual report, we see this person is clear. You see the person clear, 0 balance. How? This person in previous years or quarter, this person had arrears. And then now in this, the turnover documents that you have with us here, or the first quarter report in my second term, there are people now that showing that they are 0 balance. Another major flag was we had people who were officials of LSURC because the due categories are not the same. You have NEC paying 30, COC paying this amount, 25, 20 judicial bowl, and the different prices up to the lowest due, which is 10 quad. But then we see in the records, we have officials in the leadership that having zero balance, but then they only seeing a figure of 120, and which of course some people are supposed to be paying 260, some people are supposed to be paying this amount, even up to 300. The members, even some members of the judicial board and members of the COC at the time. So, and then city presidents. So I'm confused after reviewing this, and when it was flagged by the acting financial secretary, and when it came before the NEC. So when we try to review it together, then we get concerned. We say, then how is this happening? So at that time, if you go here to these records, for those of you who may know, because we are in this meeting, I will want to read this communication out for the benefit of this process. You got people say, why the president didn't do this. So in June, finally, we have collected, analyzed all of the documents that we have. We came up with this press statement. It reads, "Good evening, fellow scholars. Let me begin because this is a long process. Well, I think the board have date, but for the benefit of everybody, I want to reread this. Let me begin by thanking each one of you who are here tonight, and for those who intended to be here, but for circumstances beyond their reach that could not permit, I say openly that your absence is acknowledged. To all those graduating this month and next, I say a big congratulations and thank you for the job well done. This is evidence of true academic excellence, and Liberia stand proud today. To all leaders, national and local, I want to openly thank you for dedication, continuous service to LSUIC, and we are grateful. Fellow leaders, last night, the Judicial Board rendered a landmark opinions in the case against the IEC and the NEC relative to the electoral process or processes across LSUIC. This is a true testament to adherence to the rule of law, and that all scholars and parties involved are encouraged to respect the board's decisions. I would also like to thank the board for acknowledging Article 38, Section 1, letter O, and encouraging dialogues for a smooth electoral process. In the same vein, I want to reaffirm my confidence in the IEC and have no doubt about its independence in conducting a free, fair, transparent electoral process in strict compliance with the law. I assure the general public of calm and stability in these elections, and that all actors will be treated with respect and without fear or favor. Deeply rooted in our history is the principle of accountability and transparency, and it is against this backdrop that we present this release to the general public on the investigations of membership, authentication, and compliance to our periodic check and balance of the union finance. This investigation not only highlights a potential financial gain for the union, but also establish a refined system that will help us make informed decisions that will shape the future of LSUIC. It is evidence that the investigation was timely and appropriate in strict compliance to Article 4 to Chapter 4 of the amended Constitution, with keen focus on membership Article 9, Section 1 to 7. Membership due Article 9A 1 to 5, and membership right and obligation Article 9C. Distinguished colleagues, fellow scholars, recent findings have necessitated a thorough review of LSUIC membership status and the accuracy of information submitted by all members. This system audit has revealed discrepancies that significantly impact our financial records in compliance with established constitutional guidelines. Pursuant to Article 24, Section 1A, B, C, D, and 2 of the amended Constitution of 2020, which emphasizes the necessity of income and budget of the union that commensurate membership status. This established the findings of our investigation and the implications of these findings and the subsequent decisions made by the National Executive Committee. Findings of investigations. The investigation into membership authenticity has revealed that a significant proportion of members have reported inaccurate statuses that do not accurately reflect their actual positions and scholarship data. Specifically, the analysis of due payment has indicated discrepancies and suggesting the deliberate submissions of personal information to the Secretary. This misrepresentation includes members incorrectly identifying themselves as self-supported, whereas findings indicate otherwise, or a regular member when in fact they hold national or local positions, and national position. Consequently, this deliberate act has adversely affected the overall financial record of the union. The total dues collected from the first to fourth quarter were substantially lower than what should have been generated had all members accurately reported their statuses. This issue extends beyond recent occurrences and has been a deliberate act since the Constitution was last amended in 2020. This discrepancy constitutes a violation of fundamental clause of primary source of income of the Union, Article 9, Section 5, through membership status, particularly in relation to financial accountability, transparency, as required in Article 9 days. Implications of inaccurate. I think members of this body, majority of these members, since we're dealing with time, they have copies of this document, and the Judicial Board as well will have copy for further. So I just want to say that during that period when these things were flagged, we started a process in the NEC, reviewing all financial documents that we had, and then it was established that, hey, dues records are missing, pledges of funds received are not reported, and then just a whole lot. So after this, if you see here, that were brought to the revocations of even good standing certificates from so many members that breach the status. So this color you see here, people in red are people who their certificate were revoked on wrong status. The people in green are people who due record were checked and balanced in terms of arrear, in terms of dues, current dues, and whatsoever. And those in orange, in yellow, were people who we did not have a clear understanding of, both from the Secretariat and from the financial records submitted by Honorable Moore and Honorable Tanner. So we needed clarifications. And in this clarity, scholars start to report to the financial sector, oh, I paid this, oh, I paid that. So we get to get an understanding. Now, during the tense period of my leadership, leading to, I think one of the victims at the time were participating, or many of the victims at the time were participating in the elections, which brought a serious commotions in the union, and we were between judicial processes and what have you. So we could not adequately or effectuate this process that we intended, at least to the benefit, unless you actually had a substantial gain at the time, because people started reporting the actual amount or the difference that they never paid at the time or that was not reported. We started getting some of this money. Now, when this was established, what did the national president do? The national president contacted the financial secretary, contacted the former financial secretary, the current treasurer, because at the time she had tendered in her resignation, she was the treasurer. And the current vice president at the time, who was then the president, was aware of these findings, because at the time he was the current vice president. All of these reports were before him, he was aware. So what did I do then? I invited these financial secretaries at the time. I say, hey, there are serious discrepancies, specifically Honorable Moore through the financial records that we have reviewed, it flags out at the time up to 22 to 24,000 at a time in your financial report, which of course you need to come for us to adequately address these concerns. Honorable Tanu, there were 50 and 54.62 short in your financial records. You need to come for us to do the check and balances on this because these figures are not reported. So the first instance, as any leader would do, I invited the both. I said, this is not something that say, hey, you stole this money. This is not something that say, oh, you take the money, you use it for your own personal gain. But this money, after this actual review of all financial documents that I have with the NEC, after we have reviewed it and I myself, these are what were identified, these missing figures. So please, this is not something accusing. Come and let's clarify this. Maybe, just maybe, you may have, maybe, or I'm having oversight, or you have oversight that these mistakes come. So come, let's correct this. The first instance, the National Treasurer came. Honorable Mo said she was not coming. Besides, why am I even calling her when it has been, I think, 2 quarters or 3 quarters that she has not, and this process was not called, and now I'm calling her. I said, no, that's not the case. You were there when these findings, and we were in the process when we completed this process, because it's a long document. You can just go and say, oh, you just take somebody's hand and you say, oh, this money not there. So you say, okay, the other money that you just go people without any substantial evidence to substantiate whatsoever you are alleging. So after everything that we have done, after we have reported to the students all of these discrepancies and whatsoever that we have found, please come. Maybe you have clarity for us to do the both financial secretary at the time acting and financial proper that resigned, Honorable Mo. The first instant, Honorable Mo never came. It was only Honorable Tano. And in that meeting, Honorable Tano presented her records as well of all of the money she received from Honorable City and all of the money she expended as as the National Treasurer from 2023 to 2024. And compare with what was presented in all of the financial records from Honorable Mo, there were huge discrepancies. So I'm concerned. I said, but this is not total, because all of those documented evidences of all the money received from Honorable City was submitted to her, and all of the RDP records was submitted to me as well for review, because I asked them for all documents. I said, please submit your documents. Honorable Mo, at the time, she sent me password for the file or login, or did it log in? She sent me the password for me to access it. When that was done, the first instance, Honorable Mo never came. The second instance, she never came. The third, Honorable Mo said, I want to come, but I want to be, for it to be on the record, I need to come with witnesses. I said, that's good. Come with whoever you deem necessary. This is not something that will say somebody is accusing. This is not something that will say they're pushing you to the wall. This money we're missing, or it is not accounted for. But if you think that you want witnesses to come, since I'm the boogeyman, no problem. You can bring witnesses. And that's how Coco, the former member of the Judicial Board, Honorable Coco, came. Honorable Noah D. Mason, they came to that meeting. Honorable Michael Sipo Jensen, the associate adjudicator, were also in that meeting. So in that meeting, we went bit by bit. So if you see here, I will bring this file. Let me see here. Here, you will see annual report. for Honorable Moore. This was the check and balance that I reported. I'm looking for the annual report, please. The general conference. Here. So after all the report, I say, Honorable Moore, what we are seeing or what I have observed and through these invites that we have been receiving, there have been discrepancy, in which, of course, there are funds that you recorded here, and the National Treasurer said she did not receive those funds from you. So we start to go bit by bit. What did I do? All of Honorable Moore's financial records from first quarter, I want you guys, because when I get into the file, already the check and balance file, we flag all of these figures so that you will understand. So, and lastly, I want to point this out. Honorable Moore said in one of us to do, she said, the annual report that was submitted to the union at the conference was from first to fourth quarter. And I want to state this, we'll get to the fourth quarter report. The fourth quarter ended July the 5th. After July 5th, there were funds that were collected up until the time this report was submitted, which is inclusive of this. That's why you see the records here. LSUIC annual report from July 26, 2023 to July 24th, 2024. So it was not something about from first quarter to fourth quarter that ended July 5th. Records in this report indicate that even funds that came in after July 25th, it is cataloged in this report. Now, when Honorable Moore submitted this report, quarter by quarter, all of quarter report, because at first these were the reports I've been receiving. The back ends were not there that gave us a clear picture of what LSUIC actually received. So I just want to clarify this, that it was not from first quarter, July 26th to July 5th. This report covers from July the 26th, 2023 to July 24th, 2024. All transactions that happen within that period, it is reported into this annual report. That's why I give a sum total of this income, or reported total, to be 120,000. Now, after we go through the financial records from first quarter to fourth quarter, like you see here, you will see first quarter, which was September 9, and I want you to pay keen attention to reported balances, current balance. That our first place I want us to start from first. Here you will see present balance after LSUIC income and expenditure as reported in Honorable Moore's record. You will see here LSUIC generated any balance after income, the total income and total expenditure. LSUIC expended 32,000, that means it was left in the covers at the time with 32,329. That should have been the brought forward to the second quarter, because this means the chapter has ended, the book have closed. If you come to second quarter of LSUIC financial record, which is December 28, and you come to the brought forward here, you will see brought forward to be 32,674.45. And when you come here, you will see 32,329.45 as the brought forward. And then in the second quarter, you will see 32,600. So a difference of 400 plus that was added. Sorry, excuse my math. I'm not a mathematician. Then the same thing again, take after income and expenditure, you come to the expenditure, you will see 42,031.80. When you go down to the third quarter here, when you come to the third quarter, which was March 27, you will see the brought forward for March 20th in March, we're supposed to be the ending balance of this quarter, of second quarter, to be 42,031.80. When you come to third quarter, you will see that the ending balance in third quarter is 40, what you call it here. You will see 42,199.80. You cannot close with this amount and report this amount as the brought forward. It doesn't work in accounting in any way. So where is this increments coming from each quarter? That was the first flaggings of these financial records in terms of discrepancy first, just from the quarterly report. And then we went to the fourth quarter. So when you end here, you see the ending balance here to be 43,137.80. And when you go to the fourth quarter, you will see 43,137.80. Now, paying attention here. The same amount now here, this ending balance is reported as they brought forward in fourth quarter, which from the first quarter up to this period, that's how it should be. No money can be added on the closing balance of that quarter. When you bring in that money over as a brought forward, it stays at 8 days. Not any money to be added or money to be subtracted. If that should be in accounting. I think out of the people that do accounting, there's a serious problem when it comes to that. You cannot do that. So we move forward to how you call it, the annual report, because I want to pay key attention here. So when all of this money came in, when I review all of that, the first thing I go, because this is Honorable Mo's financial report. Or here, if you come from first all the way to four, you will see all it is signed by Honorable Mo, and this is in the circular. All is on LSUIC platforms. These are the documents that she dispersed on LSUIC platforms. Now, when we went into the audit process, which of course I will come to this far. And let me say something here to all of the members. To all of the members here. To all of the members, I am disappointed in the audit for several reasons. And I will tell you why. During the audit period, the first thing before this financial management letter, the audit never did anything. In fact, the audit said no money was stolen in LSUIC from 2023 to 2025. The audit committee said the only thing out there was some, they were missing, there was no financial policy in LSUIC. That was all. No money was stolen. And that's what prompted even the audit to be reopened. The audit to be reopened because it was challenged in that meeting. And I want you guys to pay keen attention, which of course we're coming now to substantiate where at first I took it to be maybe this will be oversight. But then when the then financial secretary started deleting records of her financial record and adding figures to her financial record, her daily login, and even the one that she presented here, I'm puzzled. At first, I thought maybe this would be a mistake. Maybe the financial secretary had issue at the time that caused maybe this certain amount to not be reported. just maybe. But then I came to the conclusion that this was intentional. When the financial secretary, then former financial secretary, Honorable City Moore, started deleting records from her data login, because her login is how you call it, on macros documents that she logs, she controls, she has a version control, she can delete the entire file, all of the material evidences. And that happens even in the check and balance meeting that Honorable what his name? Honorable Noah D. Mason, Coco Wejla, Honorable His Honor, Royalty, sorry, I always like to use his name, Royalty, Marcus Sipo Jensen. And all of these files, as they were deleting, the video evidence, the pictures, as she was deleting it, it is recorded. It will be submitted to the judicial board. Now I'm like, so you mean this was actually stolen? This money was not unreported? Because in that meeting that I called the financial secretary, and God bears me witness, that recording will be turned over to the judicial board to listen to. When we ask the question, okay, this money, you said you report this money. Honorable Financial Secretary, what did your record show? Can you show us a record? What did you have, or what was reported? The Honorable Financial Secretary said, this was what I reported. And the income received by the Financial Secretary is this hard amount of money. Let me just put it in this amount. Maybe 10,000 received by the Financial Secretary. Then the Financial Secretary then will report 4,000 or 5,000. What becomes of the 6,000? What becomes of the 7,000? Or what becomes of the 3,000? When you receive 10,000 and you are reporting to the treasurer only of 5,000 or 4,000. So what becomes of these other figures? What becomes of this other money? Now, what did I do? I take you back to when I first took office. I sent the evidence to Honorable Royalty, Michael Sipo Jensen. When I took office, July the 26th, July the 28th, I called for an emergency meeting. What was the purpose of for that emergency meeting? One, to establish ground rules for WeChat, to establish financial records for LSUIC, because at the time, the financial secretary reported that she did not receive anything of financial documents from the previous leadership, only the annual report. So I said, we should formulate a financial policy. We should formulate a financial records for LSUIC. In that meeting, it was then unanimously agreed that we need to buy a SIM card for LSUIC, that all financials of LSUIC will be done on that through the WeChat and the Alipay that will be created on that WeChat. Honorable Moore bought the SIM card July the 31st, 2023, and reported that SIM card to the NEC that I have bought the SIM card and this is it. I'm creating the WeChat. She even sent the WeChat that she created and the Alipay for LSUIC. The intention was buy the SIM card in LSUIC name if it is possible. When she went there, she reported back to the NEC that, hey, LSUIC, the people cannot sell SIM card to LSUIC because LSUIC is not a legal entity. However, I will buy the SIM card in my name because that's the only way, because I will have to use my passport. I will buy the SIM card, but once I'm leaving office, because the SIM card belongs to LSUIC, I will turn over this SIM card, I will turn over this WeChat, I will turn over this Alipay to the next financial officer to be able to access, because this is for LSUIC purpose. That was the agreement. Now, in that same meeting, the vice president and myself, there is something, money you receive and Scholar receive for birthdays that we name it at the time LSUIC Cares. The vice president and myself decided that we would pay that money. That money would not come from LSUIC cover because LSUIC don't have funds, that much funds. So we are going to be paying that money every birthday on the platform. Now, after that meeting, let me give this clarity, because I listened to Honorable Mo saying that she bought that SIM card. The money was, if Honorable Moore was instructed to withdraw the 120 RMB from in LSUIC covers. Honorable Moore said, say everybody doing for LSUIC, send the president and take initiative, preserve their money small. No need for her to take it from LSUIC cover. It will be of my own and support to LSUIC, which is welcome. If you say you want to do something voluntarily for LSUIC, where you are told to buy something from LSUIC cover, you say you want to do it, LSUIC will appreciate it. Same way LSUIC appreciated the president, the vice president, myself, when we're paying and LSUIC cares on a daily basis on the platform. The same way, if you say you want to do it because we're doing this, fine. But this SIM card is for LSUIC. And that was the agreement. Fast forward. That financial record, that SIM card, when Honorable Moore left, Honorable Moore said she would not turn over the SIM card. Honorable, and what her name? Judicial contacted me several times because she was the financial, at the time she was in the position of the secretary, because she needed to use the SIM card as well to open. Because I said, this is LSUIC SIM card. You need that number to anything you want to do, you have to use it only because this SIM card belongs to LSUIC. So Honorable Moore said she can turn over the SIM card. That's her personal SIM card. And she can turn over the WeChat, she can turn over the Alipay. Up to today's, that has not been turned over. And I instructed the treasurer, I said, every funds for LSUIC should be received through Alipay, because Alipay have an accurate record. Now, when you want to curate, you just go there, you put in the details, you will curate that records and present it. So, honorable members, I don't know, I need to minimize this thing here to present these documents. And where I said I'm so disappointed in the audit committee, distinguished colleagues of the Judicial Board. When the when the audit committee came out, they said no money were missing from 2023 to 25, only financial policy was missing. I was shocked. So when we start to argue it, that's how the audit process was reopened. Now, what did I do? The president at the time, when these findings were to do, I shared this report. I said I was not going to give this report to anybody. I need an independent audit. I don't want to point people in the direction. Say, okay, go check to this place, go check to this place, go check to this place. This is the preliminary check and balances that I did in my leadership from my past officials. Now, this document, I don't want it to interfere with audit process. So what will I do? I will hold on to this document, let the audit carry on their independent process. If there will be any reason at a later time that is not clear, this document will substantiate for us. That's why when the audit people never got it, because they were hoping they would get this document. When they never got it, they said no money lost in LSUIC. So after they came back, the president said, because the president know about this document, and the other members said, oh, president, for the benefit of these people, give this your records so the audit committee can review it. So I said, okay, because it is details, it is there. I gave this record. Unfortunately and surprising, that's what I said, when people come before this place, they should swear on the Bible or they should swear on the Quran if they are Muslim. That when you lie, even if you lie to this judicial board, that today when you go, that your God will judge you if you lie to this board, or when you lie to the student populace. So when this record was given to the audit, sadly, Honorable Judicial Board, let me say this, because that was the case I was going to take to this body. A massive change in Honorable Moore's records surface, because you know the document is version control. I will show you all of the discrepancy. The files are here, so you can go through it bit by bit. These files, they are here. The modification and everything. All of the additions and figures. So this was Honorable Moore documents that she's tried to modify, even the file size. The last time she edited this document and everything, the track records I did. When My documents were submitted to the audit committee, the check and balance file. All of a sudden, the entire document changed. But let me say something here. If you see highlight color here, these are from quarters to quarters. From first quarter from up here, the first quarter here, second quarter here, third quarter start from here. I want you to pay attention to the time. January, all of the documents that I share either the quarterly report, you will know what I'm talking about when you see this highlighted color. Fourth quarter here from March 28th here into the 5th of July. To the 5th of July, and you have from July 6th, those figures that were reported in the annual report. You see all of these figures here that is highlighted with this color. All the way here to the Wuhan pledge on the 25th. These are the figures. Now, with this amount here, I want to flag this out. From here, it is important because this expenditure here was the last expenditure made by the National Treasurer when she said she had issue with her SIM card or her Alipay that was not working in her WeChat. So these figures here, when I go to the breakdown in the audit, you will see how all of these are displayed or how they are cataloged. So this was Honorable Mo's records that she started to edit over the period from the day we did the check and balance all the way up here. I want you people to pay attention to this document, because when we go to the check and balance file and all of the documents that be presented to the judicial board, when she start to delete with the edited version and everything, you're going to see it. So these were the figures. Missing fourth quarter, not reported. So this was Honorable Mo's record. And here in fiscal year 2023, 2020, I mean, 2023, it was already 2024, 2025. Here, Honorable Mo never recorded any document that didn't log in for my first quarter from July 26, 2024 up to October 30 when she left office. And the same 2024, there was no login submitted with figures generated. However, when we come back to this audit report here, this was the check and balance from Honorable CT first quarter in my second term. I want you people to pay attention to this one. If this are starting from my second term first quarter going backward. This was Honorable Mo's report to LSUIC. Honorable Mo reported here that the brought forward she had was 139,376.41. I want everybody to pay attention. Everybody to pay attention to this. This is it. I want to go to the actual records, even if I can find it here quickly. 2024 financial records. I will want to find it quickly. You please permit me, because I want also, before you say, oh, okay, October 29, here. So this was Honorable Mo's first quarter, my second term. This was the report from Honorable Mo. Honorable Mo's, these are all the figures that were captured. They brought forward, Honorable Mo said the ending balance from my 2023-2024. This was the amount. And these are the pledges she received, which is 1,510. This is, she received breath one Friday of 2,521. She received membership due of 1,395. She received fine of 150. She received loan repayment of 3,005, and she received Sunday offertory, all amounting to 48,855. Now, I will want to take you back before we go to the audit records. Here, let's go back to her own daily login, even the one that she how you call it, alter. When you come here, this is July 26th. July 26th, and in LSURC, a new leadership starts work 12 noon when the new president is sworn in. Like for instance, if Honorable Floyd is not going as a president, when he leaves office, the next president that will be sworn in at 12 o'clock, the financial officers or whosoever, their work start effective and immediately. All money collected, whether it is at the inaugural ball, from that inaugural ball, because they were all kick riding, that is a report, a figure captured in the first quarter, because the first 10 has been ended, because all financial have been reported in the first, how you call it, for that period. That's it for Orlando, if he leave office now on the president. All of the records for him, it ends that 24th. Any other money that is generated from July 26th, whether it is the cake rally, whether it is a pledge or whatsoever, table sales or whatsoever, that's an income for LSURC for the new leadership, not the old leadership. Now, if you check here, you will see payments at that time, because I was there at the conference when people pay for shirts from LSURC, there was shirt sales. This money here was captured. If you come here, this was money received from the guest speaker at the time at the conference. He gave this amount, the 2,175, the guest speaker. And this money was the money generated by Noah D. Mason from table show at the inaugural ball for the new leadership. If you add all of this money from July 26, it is 8,410. Now, let's go back to Honorable Mo's records. When you come to Honorable Mo's record, you will not find any of this money here reported. The 8,410. None of it is reported in the financial records. The only money, if you sum all this money, it ends up to 9,000 and some change. So even the money that Noah D. Mason turned over, Noah D. Mason is here as a witness. He sold those tables. I also bought a table from Noah D. Mason for the inaugural ball. That money is a proceed of the new leadership. The money that was given by the guest speaker at the inaugural ball, it is for the new leadership. It's a capture of the first quarter, not previous leadership, not fourth quarter or whatsoever. It is the new leadership funds as per LSURC Constitution from July 26. That's why you see Honorable Mo's report, even her title of it says, this report covers the period from July 26, 2024. So if this covers from July 26, 2024, where is this missing figures for the first quarter? This money was never reported in the financial records. This money was never reported. So I take that back before, so you can do the comparison where they say anything was added here. So none of this money was reported in this amount. So that 8,410, in other words, it was swallowed. Never reported in this term, never reported in the previous quarter, nothing, swallowed. And that's how Honorable Mo turned over this balance. And from this 9,000 plus, the total money Honorable Moore received, Honorable Moore only turned over when we come down to the audit breakdown here. Here, you will see the total amount that was turned over by each individuals from Honorable City to Honorable Moore. Like in the first quarter, the total money received from Honorable City or turned over from Honorable City from the 9,000 generated here, if you come here to this first quarter, from here, you will see 9,000, 9,536, 9,536.05. From this amount, the income after the expenditure made, Honorable Mose reported this amount, 279.73 to the National Treasury. Now, and when you add this 9,000, when you add this 9,000 from here, 9,533.05 to this 8,410, for you that do the math, it will tell you, it will give you almost 19,000 that was generated in the first quarter that was not reported.
Hello, Mr. Johnson. Hello,
yes,
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we have another case or another pre-hearing coming up.
Okay, so let me just sum up.
Yeah,
quick.
so we'll give
Because this
you
document will be properly explained, maybe in the official trial or whatsoever, if there is no time. So
yeah, we'll give you additional 15 minutes.
So this is the summary breakdown of Honorable full financial records. So this is Honorable City combined summary per quarter from July 26, 2023 to the 5th of June 2024. So all of the quarter reports were captured here from first quarter. If you check this figure and you go into the PDF file, the document that was shared with us previously, the NEC and that of the student body, these were the figures. The same thing that we're talking here. These are the figures that were reported by Honorable Moore. These are the figures. Now, here when you see this red that are highlighted here, these are figures that this contribution to what you call it, O'Neill's King, I'm not aware of. I didn't sign for any documents of this amount. And it is in LSUIC expenditure. Now, when it comes to the 8,672 for the chaplaincy rehabilitation program that is captured for the financial secretary. In our NEC meeting, this chaplaincy took their program. They said there was a separate, and there were I called for a meeting. I think Honorable Cheeseman at the time she was in the chaplaincy, they even got angry with me for this. Because I tried to make the chaplaincy to understand that, the chaplaincy is part of the National Executive Committee. So even if they are doing, although they operate at a separate, maybe in the national level, you will hear these agency, and you have ministries, you have agencies, especially agencies that generate revenues for country, like government, like you see the LRA, like the NASCO. So they put chaplaincy in that regard because chaplaincy is one of the generating arm for LSUIC, because people pay offertory, people pay income, people pay offerings, people pay whatsoever in the chaplaincy. So the chaplaincy generates money. I think at one point in time, they were one of the arm of LSUIC that generated, I think, substantial amount aside from due payment in LSUIC. Now, so the chaplaincy on Julate Agata Fomokwe undertook this project approved by the national president, but they said they were doing it independently as a chaplaincy project. And all proceeds generated from this money went straight to Honorable Julate, which of course she gave a comprehensive report on. A comprehensive report of this, because I said we need this. And Honorable Moore said she will not, I will say this, in NEC meeting, she will not account for money that she did not receive. So she will not include Champlain sale money, the 8,672 RMB that was generated by the Champlain sale and expended by the Champlain sale in full that LSURC never received. She will not account for it. She went on record for that in the NEC. Now, in her records, now Honorable Moore reported this figure. So that's why you see I flag it as red. The loan repayment that you see here, these figures, this money here in yellow, dark yellow, that's something that Honorable Moore, this is the audit summary here, the audit record. In here, Honorable Moore had 1,000 as loan repayment. And through the audit process, a preliminary audit, I would say, not this audit, the preliminary audit from my leadership, it was flagged that loan payment, the real loan payment that came in was 2,000 instead of 1,000. And there was a scholar who was the former who was the former Secretary General in Honorable Duarte Mosu. He credited this money. He credited this money, and this money was reported. It was paid. It was discussed off the record that he was on the record, but in the financial record, it was captured. But then the loan repayment now, the money that went out as loan, it was captured in it. But the money then that came back as loan repayment, it was only captured as 1,000 instead of 2,000. So that's why you see here, it is corrected in this audit summary report as 2,000 instead of the 1,000 as reported by Honorable Moore in her records here. And we went further. So this is just a summary of this amount. So this amount here in green, was given from the NEC to the Champlain sale. Honorable Judicial came back. I think she said one of the members had to see they needed that money, so LSURC need to expend. This is the amount that I know of that are authorized that this money be given to the Champlain sale for expenditure. This 2,703, because our additional fund they need to say because the money they use, they buy bed, they pay for this, but one of the members having hydroxy and other things, he need extra treatment, and this was the money that I know of that I signed up to that the Champlain say receive from the cover of LSURC that Honorable City is accountable to. For that amount, no, that she put in our financial record. No, not to my knowledge. That money was cleared and it was reported by Honorable Judicial Kata Flomukwe. And there were brought a confusion because Honorable City said she cannot capture this amount in her financial record because she did not receive that fund and she will not capture it as an expenditure for LSURC, or she did receive it. No, she will not. Only all of a sudden, in the final records, Honorable City is capturing this amount as she expended this money as 8,400, 8,600 and some more RMB. So this is the summary of how you call it, the audit summary here. Let me go to the summary on this side, the corrections.
Yeah, you just have 3 minutes more.
So these were the amount that Honorable Moore reported. This is for brought forward for each quarter. Actual brought forward by Honorable Moore. These are the 39,000, the second quarter 47,000 in terms of income, 61,000, 62,000, fourth quarter, all of the incomes. Now, these were the expenditure. So if you do the expenditure here of all of the incomes of LSURC and all of the expenditures, this is for her report that she expended, you will still see a difference in this amount of 2,966 that was, how you call it, not accounted for. And when you come down now to the audit summary, so this was the annual conference report to LSURC, the general conference on July 26th. Because after the reason you see I kept it July 26th she submitted the 25th, they were issued with the report and told her she should do the correction and come back July 26th. So she did the report here. Right before I gave my inaugural address at the conference, she presented this report. So on July 26th, Honorable City Mo reported the balance that LSURC had at the time to be 43,139.70 as a book balance. Now, in the audit summary, if you go bit by bit with all of the money, because this was queried from in the data login, compare with all of the financials records, and these are the actual figures. And I will come down because I say I have 3 minutes. I hope I'm giving the time. Very good. This is the compromise. This is the compromise records from Honorable Mo when she started changing figures, because all of these are password, or let me say formulas control, right? So when you change figure or you take figure from another place, you bring it into another column, it will flag. So that one of the flag, when she tried to change the figure, that you will not see this figure. So I just captured this, is in this audit file. They are there. So this was a record from July 12th. A fund from July 12th that Honorable Moss now start to replace way in December 2023. Let me say December 9, 2023. How is that possible when she started changing some records? Now, when you come down, I want you to look at the difference in far here. When you come down to these financial records here, you will see all of these figures here. You will see these figures that she reported here, these amounts. When you see here, you will see the 12,000, you will see the 2006, the sponsorship letter. These were money that were generated for LSURC from the conference. These were money that were generated from LSURC from the conference. Now, in Honorable Mo records here, you will see this figure that Honorable Mo captured as 22,000. Come down to the other versions of Honorable Mo financial records. You will see the changes that Honorable Mo has made into that record as well. You will see different figures being reported in this other document. That was the compromise one that it was captured in. This is the modified one. After the sampling, this Auditor General has received my documents when she start making adding figures again into these documents. When you come up here.
All right, Mr. Johnson, we are sorry we cannot go any further because of time.
So thank you so much. I do appreciate the time, and I hope I'm giving the opportunity to trade you through all of the Judicial Board and all interested parties, especially for the breakdown summary of all incomes and expenditure, and how the total of 20 plus thousand that was missing from LSURC not reported by the Financial Secretary will be justified and substantiated. Thank you very much.
All right, so thank you for the time. The student body, we said that if you have a question, you can just send your question to any of the JB members. Then we will ask the question on your behalf. Now we will open this time for questions and answer period. And this is strictly restricted. The question can only be asked to the JB members. So, Honorable Bo, it is now time for you to ask your questions based on what the honorable men have presented to us. Members of the board, no time to waste. If you have a question, please get it coming in.
Okay. So sorry for my background. I'm Marcus Sipo Jensen, Associate Educator. Honorable Johnson, I want to start out with this question. In your own belief or your own opinion, can you say that your leadership had any financial?
You are coming
I
in
just,
broken.
if it's possible. Oh yeah, sorry for my background. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you
Yes,
loud.
please.
Okay, so I just want a very short answer from you. We just go back and forth a little bit just for clarity. In your, because from the audit committee report they sent, that your leadership did not have financial policy. So I want to ask you, with the definition of financial policy that we know, can you say your leadership had a financial policy or not?
All
Just
right.
very short answer, please, because I have follow-up questions.
I will answer in regards to LSUIC constitution or what it defines financial policy to be. And one of the financial instrument would be the official budget of LSUIC or financial document that is submitted to the council. In that terms, in LSUIC terms, will be considered as a financial policy, and any other supplementary that comes in within that period. Therefore, example, they are instituted a program, all right, a policy called a financial management program, but that was a program, all right. In other words, in governance, you consider this kind of program to be government policy. Some of the programs are government institute.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
you compare that to I instituted what we call the financial management program in LSUIC,
Okay.
along
All right.
with a document submitted. And let me clarify with this financial policy quickly in 30
Okay.
seconds.
Okay. Yeah. Very quick, please.
This
Very quick.
financial secretary and her team was instructed because constitutionally, the financial officer prepares financial documents for LSUIC. And if you have, if the finance committee both work together to formulate what we call whatsoever new financial policies that come or revised financial policy, I will send that letter. My first term and my second term, if I can share my screen, I even reported to the COC when Honorable City defaulted in her functions. She did not produce a financial document. Even the first time I was flagged that, oh, we spent outside of the LSUIC financial budget. Honorable Moore refused to submit a financial a budget because the Constitution said the financial secretary shall prepare a budget and submit it to the NEC for approval and subsequently submit to the council for confirmations. She
Okay.
never did that. In that communication, Honorable Prince Wasonwabi, Honorable Koko Wedeja, who was the Secretary General, and Honorable Koto, Bambun Koto, that was the COC too. I wrote the COC, informing the COC about the delinquency and Honorable Financial Secretary City failing to submit the financial
Okay.
document. The records
Okay.
are
All
there
right.
and it is submitted to the judiciary. The same with Honorable Kingsford Flomo, when he was a COC one, when City refused again, Honorable City refused. I also informed the COC about the delinquency for the
Okay, Honorable
financial
Johnson.
secretary.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
So, yeah, so I would like us to be very, very, a little bit short in the answer. The reason I ask you that question is because during your explanation, I realized that you kept saying this, the financial secretary spent money you did not know about. And even yesterday, the national treasurer also made similar claims. So if there were financial policy, why were, if there, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You're coming in
If
broken,
there,
sir.
okay, what about now? What about now?
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Yes.
But
So
there
if
was
there were
something.
financial policy, why were money being spent without uh your knowledge or without, as you claim, without your knowledge or without the national treasurer knowledge, as she also claimed yesterday?
All right. Thank you for
That's why I asked. That's why I asked the
okay.
question. So
Thank you.
yeah, I'm just telling you why I asked the
Oh, okay,
question,
okay.
just to
So
know
no
why.
response to
Because
that, right?
if there were, yeah, no response to that. No
Oh,
response
okay.
to that. So I have a couple of questions to ask you, even though I might
And
not ask
Honorable,
everything.
just 2 seconds. LSUIC law
Yes, very
in
fast, please.
that
Very
financial
fast.
policy that governs LSUIC. I think it's somewhere on Article 23 or 24. I'm just mistaken, but I'm rusty now with the Constitution. Even the Constitution or even details, it says any member of LSUIC, whether financial secretary or whosoever, even including the president, if we receive money, within 72 hours, right, which is 3 days, that money should be turned over to the National Treasury. And expenditure shall be made only by the National Treasurer, not the Financial Secretary. Only maybe a given circumstances that we encounter from the
Okay.
13 or the 16.
Okay.
But you know what happened? Let me tell you, that thing, let me say
A little
this to the
fast,
board.
please. A little fast, please. Okay.
I cannot punish, although I take some decisions and I forward that communication to the board. I took some decision against the financial officer because you cannot reach, the Constitution cannot tell you receive money in 3 days and you within 3 days you submit, and you take money after 3 months or 1 month or 2 months before you submit to the National Treasury. So why are you keeping the money? There will be no financial how you call it, check and balances within the period. So what are you doing?
Okay.
It means it's a very violation of the Constitution.
Okay, so let me ask another everyday question as I did yesterday. So I wanted some clarity. For example, you talk about the 8,000 that was collected at the conference, and you mentioned that that money was not turned over to the national treasure. Did you confirm from the national treasure if the money was not turned over or the money was turned over but not written? Did you confirm if the national treasure received that money or not? And many other money you stated that was not turned over or accounted for when you did your check and balance.
In our check and balance, even in the meetings that we held, the check and balance meeting that we held, the open section with you, Honorable Noah D. Mason, Honorable Coco, because I think those are the 3 strange people that were in
Let me
that
just
meeting.
make this clarity so that we go
He
honorable.
did not turn over this one, the 8,410 to the National Treasury.
Okay, Honorable Johnson, let me just make my question very straight because I want us just to go as fast as possible. So why I'm asking you is I want to know if the treasurer received the money.
No.
And
In
the
simple terms, no.
I'm coming. Okay. So I want to know if the treasurer received the money, but the financial secretary forgot to write it down, or she deliberately did not turn the money over and it was not accounted for. That's what I'm asking.
It was not turned over. It was not accounted for. The only money the treasurer received from Honorable Corporal Mo, Honorable City, was 5,000. I don't know if I can go to my screen to share. And if the records are received, the transfer record from Honorable, Honorable Tino, it shows Honorable Mo only transferred 5,200 and some change. That 8,410 were never reported, were never captured in any financial record of LSUIC aside from the daily login that flagged it out.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the last question from my end for now, so others can ask. And if we have the time, definitely I'm going to ask. Yesterday, when the National Treasurer was reporting, the National Treasurer and the National Financial Secretary, they both stated the National Treasurer was answering a question in line with her term serving as acting Financial Secretary General. And then the Financial Secretary General proper. They said during the attorney, there was no complaint from students about their due payment. During your explanation, you said that students reach out and people complain that their money was not the record was not taken or the pay or due was not recorded. Did the student reach out to you to complain, or you saw from the quarterly report, whatever it is, that money supposed to be paid or money was not clear? I just want to get that clarity.
Honorable, at no point in time I will need the records, because I think I was following the hearing yesterday. At no point in time did any financial, I think, mention that members never complain of due or whatsoever.
Okay, so let me remind you quick so we just make progress. So yesterday, Honorable Louis asked a question about, for example, for the National Treasurer, they asked her, how do we do check and balance? And then her response yesterday, Honorable Tanu said, if there were any problem, the student will flag it out in their due. But nobody came to say I pay my due was not reported. That was a statement of National Treasurer Honorable Tanu. And also from Honorable City Moore, when she was explaining, she said when she provided her record there was no point in time that student came out to say, "Oh, I paid my money. You didn't put my money in there," and stuff like that. So that was the time they both mentioned that student did not flag out any problem in that due payment. And then you are saying that student reached out to you. That's what I'm saying. Did the student reach
Honorable,
out to? Yeah, go ahead. Just
Honorable,
very fast.
no,
Yes, go ahead.
I would not want you to say the president say because I'm right here. And I would not want it to be interpreted that financial officers stated that student uh, didn't reach out or reach out. Here, I explain to you that after we have investigated the report, the financial report, and also issue a revocation of certificates from several scholars. Scholar reached out to the acting financial secretary at the time to report issues concerning their due payments. That was my statement in these findings. Some people that came with their report, when it was checked, it was validated, their certificates were reissued. For those who their certificates or their records were not validated, that certificate were not reissued. I want to say that this is the clarity that I provided. That's why documents don't lie. These documents serve. And there were so many people that people said it was a system of witch hunt, but this system generated funds for LSUIC because there were people who were honor reporting. There were people who did not
Okay.
give money to LSUIC.
Okay.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. That was my answer in that regard.
Okay, so for the sake of time, other adjudicators can ask, and definitely I will come back if time is there.
Yeah, so any other question coming in? I have some questions here from students in my inbox. So, and then I have my own question. So let's take you to JB members. Do you have question? Okay, so let me ask this question that came in my inbox. So, like you presented to us, so we want to know whether, from your expose or the presentation that you did it capture between 2023 to 2024, including 2024 to 2025?
The entire records here from 2023 to 2025 in this entire file, it is there. The file share with the judiciary because there are time I go step by step. I can jump from 2025 to 2024. I go with financial officer by financial officers. They are there in
Oh,
this report.
okay, so then the follow-up question would be, when this new government was coming into power or being installed into power, did you present a formal report since you already have this on your decks? Did you do a formal handover of these documents when they reach out to you?
Thank you. The national president represented these documents during the audit. However, in August, the national president will call, he will drill through this document. And to answer your question about turnover, I was never the president to turn over to this current leadership. I resigned July 13. So I was never the president. The president I was entitled to was the vice president who became the 15th president of LSUIC. He was the one that I was answerable to turn over, not this leadership.
Did you
However,
turn over to?
I did due diligence to both leadership with these financial records. They have them. The president at first, before the audit, let me say this. I told the president, Mr. President, for independence and transparency, this preliminary audit document I presented to you, yes, Mr. President, but I will not turn over because I don't want your audit committee to go and say, okay, they already have a fixed man to go to. No, let it do that independent audit. Where called upon, where justification need to be made, these documents will be made available. That was my statement to the national president. To answer your question, I was not entitled to do a turnover to Honorable Orlando Tiablo. I was under the moral obligations and the legal obligations to do a turnover to this 15th president of LSUIC, Gideon F. Sori, which of course I did after my resignation. Thank you.
Okay, so do you at any point in time suspended Honorable Mo or Tinu?
Yes, I suspended Honorable Corporal Mo. I suspended Honorable Tino, and this is why. Honorable Corporal Mo were warned in LSUIC meeting, NEC meeting, countless time. On what basis? It was reported to the NEC that Honorable Moore is not turning over funds for LSUIC as the Constitution requires. The Constitution says if you receive money for LSUIC, whosoever, whether financial secretary, whether the president, whether even scholar for LSUIC, you are under the obligation to turn over that funds within 3 days to the national treasurer for LSUIC keeping. Honorable Mo, it was reported that Honorable Mo were not turning over LSUIC funds as the Constitution requires to turn over funds within 3 days upon receipt. Also, it was when the NEC were informed that Honorable Moore were not documenting or giving detailed report. For example, if Scholar John paid dues, Scholar Paul paid dues from Beijing, Scholar Peter paid due from J-Chan, Scholar this paid due, that records, and this money came in as a loan repayment, or this money came in as a pledge, that money be cataloged and submitted to the treasurer for her own accurate record keeping. Instead, after maybe 1 month or 2 months, money will be sent over maybe in 5,000, where financial record will say maybe 15,000 comes as income. Then Honorable Moore will report maybe 7,000 and say funds for LSUIC. So when that was reported in the NEC warned Honorable Moore not once, not 2, not 3, not 4. And then I was forced, after giving 2 different warnings, I was forced to suspend Honorable Moore. I think it was for a week or 2, and I recall her on one of the committees. I think it was the Ways, Means, and Finance. I recall her from that committee and informed the COC at the time about this attitude. The COC at the time headed by the Beijing coordinator, and at the time Coco Wejira was the secretary, Honorable Coco Wejira was the secretary of the council. I also informed the council about these decisions. I just not take actions out of the sudden. Honorable Tano was suspended that she stand in an official apology to the NEC. Now, how did this suspension came? When Honorable Tano reported the situation of Honorable Moore, when action was not taken, Honorable Moore and Tano had a back and forth confrontation in the NEC, and at the time, Honorable Tano needed the president to take certain actions. That is to say, she said, oh, since this is being addressed, this is not being to do this way, I think probably I can leave the NEC. Without any knowledge of the NEC, Honorable Tano left the NEC group. When Honorable Tano left the NEC group because she said the issue Honorable Moore is insulting her, and whatsoever the report that she has given, action is not taken, but instead we are telling her to be patient. She don't want to, since that will be the case, it's better than she be outside of NEC because some of her concerns will not be taken. And when she removed herself, I said the action taken by her to remove herself while actively serving in the position and not allowing the NEC to amicably resolve the situation, she was served a suspension and was instructed that before she can return to the NEC within that period, she had to send a written apology to the NEC for every member. And that communication was sent in Some of the leaders were angry. They said the decision was harsh. But me, I should have amicably resolved it. But I said it was the decision taken by the honorables, and since in her active duty she left the NEC group, she will be suspended until, because that's a gross disrespect and disrespect to all leaders, not me alone, but the vice president and other members of NEC. And that's how Honorable Tanu was also suspended. And I think that suspension served, I think, for 1 week or so when she tendered in that official apology. I think it was between
Honorable Johnson, do you have the communication of those or suspension
I
letters?
sent to honorable, how you call him? I sent to honorable royalty. I always using honorable royalty. Sorry, Marcus Sipo Jensen.
Okay, so we'll need copy of that. The both suspension letters, we need them. Okay, so in terms of the financial policy, where you went or you complained to the COC, do you also have the communication to that effect?
Can I share it now?
Yes, we appreciate that you share the content of the letter.
All right, let me go to it quickly, honorable. This was the first communication. This was the second, my second term. I will start from my second term to Honorable Moses Kingsford Plomo. All right. This was my second. At the time, the financial policy has been delayed. You see, the time I wrote Honorable Kingsford, after I have repeatedly, NEC have repeatedly told Honorable Mo to prepare the budget
2023 to 2024. Do you have the exact? Can you recall the exact amount that was missing?
Honorable, I will not, because there is a situation going on. Because in our meeting, one of the meetings that we held, I stated that up to 38,000 got missing. In the audit documents, the money that was reported was up to 24,000 in this audit document. However, when we were doing the check and balance at the time when Honorable Couple Mo appeared, wherein she will ask, okay, Honorable Mo, this figure here, you say it is reported as income for LSURC, and this is what you expended. And Honorable Tano is saying that this is the money she received. How do you answer to this? That, for example, you receive 10,000 and you report 5,000. So where is the balance 5,000 that was not reported? And in that meeting, those figures then that were not accounted for are jotted down. So when I try to do the broad summary after the initial figures that have already been established, those ones just came as an additional figure. So in my head, I've stated up to 38,000. However, what is in this financial records? What is in our financial, in this other financial record here? This figure here.
So can we accept the amount in the audit financial record as the missing?
Yes, I would say this figure here, this figure is the actual missing figures from the financial records of Honorable Mo, this amount.
Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that?
I agree. I agree with this figure.
Can you provide proof?
But the proof are in the financial records that are submitted to these people, and I come to substantiate, and that's why I was substantiating as well.
Okay, we'll get to that point.
And the recording as well will be shared. The recording from that meeting as well will be shared. But you asked for this document. It's important that I read. I said to the Honorable, the Fifth Council, I present my compliment and herewith acknowledge receipt of your letter dated October 11, 2024, with specific request to the submission of LSURC annual budget for scrutiny pursuant to Article 15A, Section 2 of LSURC amended Constitution of 2020. Prior to the council recommendation, the National Executive Committee held an emergency meeting to discuss the delay in the budget process. During this meeting, we reached a decision to provide context on the challenges and the procrastination we have faced as executives in moving forward with the budget. On August 13, 2024, the National Executive Committee convened a meeting to address pressing matters with a key focus on the budget proposal. To avoid delay, we informed the National Financial Secretary of her constitutional duty as outlined in Article 14, Section 5A of LSUIC amended Constitution, and set a deadline of September 1, 2024 for submission of the necessary document. Unfortunately, despite repeated reminders, the National Financial Secretary has yet to submit the required documents to the National Executive Committee. This delay has not only impaired our progress in the budget process, but has also created challenges in our resource allocation efforts. Considering these circumstances, I respectfully request that the Council consider approving, that's what in the Sunday they said, we expended unapproved budget. I wrote this communication that the council consider approving 10,000 RMB as soft loan to support scholars who are currently experiencing financial difficulties and 5,000 RMB provincial support. That is the 5,000 RMB that is being questioned from the COC. That's how I mentioned that the 5,000 provincial support while we await the draft budget in the forthcoming month. Honorable members, this assistance will greatly benefit fellow scholars because at the time, I think Honorable Wejra and within that period requested for loan and he was not given loan because Honorable Mo said she have already tendered her resignation. She's not preparing any financial document. Anything should be dealt with by the new treasurer. So in that time, we were having difficulty. We cannot spend Honorable Wejra, even Honorable Marcus Sipo Jensen made requests for funds and there are several delays. He never received that amount. So I said, but we cannot spend outside of the budget. So the only thing I can do to be able to resolve the situation as president and as the NEC is for us to ask for a request from the council for which the council approved this amount, this 15,000, the 5,000 provincial support for the council, and also the 10,000 to be given as soft loan to scholars that were desperately in need. So lastly, I believe it is important for the council to invite the financial secretary to address this delay directly. It is crucial for us to understand the challenges that have led to the missed deadlines and to ensure that we can establish a constructive path moving forward to prevent such issues in the future. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for considering this request. I anticipate your response and to working collaboratively to resolve this matter. Sincerely, Jacob Seaforth Johnson, National President. That was my communication in my second term. Again, when Honorable Moore started the procrastination, two things, not turning over funds from 2023-2024 as it should be, because the last fund turned over from 2023-2024 in the possession of Honorable Moore were in October, I think October either 13 or 15, I can't remember, but I need to check the financial documents. It was when that money was turned over. So I reported this to the council. Also, if you go to 2024, if you go, let me look for the NEC file. I beg you, please.
So, JB Mema, do you have any other question? So, if no other question, we can.
Can you get me now?
Yes.
Yes, time is national
Your Honor, I'm hearing.
Okay, I ask again, did you at any point in time receive a refund from the financial secretary then or treasurer for a trip you took to Beijing? And how did you receive that fund if you did?
Thank you very much. Yes, I did receive my full refund from the acting financial secretary. And this is how. In 2024, the 2023-2024, during the conference, when we were preparing for the national conference, what I would do, all right, in the NEC, the tasks that were given to me, because it's a Prezo, you have to do the booklet and other things for LSUIC. And I said, yes, at the time, it was cool stuff I can do, but I will coordinate whatsoever in terms of documentation, how the layout should be to the designer. And that will be done, and whatsoever expenditure will be communicated to the NEC for refund. That was the first amount. Honorable, what he needs, Adonis Double Jr. were paid in the the receipts. All of the documents are there as well for this amount, the refund that I received. Honorable Double Jr. and Honorable Zese, BN Zese, that received those funds for the Honorable Double did the certificates, Honorable Zese did the booklet. Now, to the second term, September 18, or September 17, when I received a communication from the embassy inviting the National Executive Committee to attend at the time wherein it was famously known as what is communication to the NEC at the time, or to LSUIC, that we're now going to attend that program. It was appealed by the embassy after we never went for, how you call it, the Joseph Boakai arrival to Beijing. When he left, the embassy, after they received our communication, they wrote the NEC officially. I will send the invitation letter. And they said we need an NEC to come. So we convened a meeting to discuss. In that meeting, it was even the COC, if you can recall, we had a meeting, we said we wanted even COC to go along as well to that meeting, because we want the national leadership. But then Board would not support even Honorable to all that he at the time was were there meeting, we discussed it. I would love to even go. So after the NEC meeting, we came to a conclusion. We said, if all NEC members going and then COC not going on the third, it will be very, very hard on the NEC. So the NEC unanimously decided at present, since you are the official spokesperson for LSUIC.
Direct question. I don't need all this explanation, especially
No, you
going
asked me
around.
if I received money. I said yes. And how did I receive this money?
Mr.
I'm stating
President,
it.
you state
No,
with summary, but you are going back to explain everything that
no,
happened from
it's
the
not
beginning.
somewhere. No, now are coming. So when I said I will send a communication informing the NEC. So all of this, they say, President, when you go, you catalog your expenditure and then you report it to the NEC. When I went after everything, I submitted, I went for a day. I didn't even sleep in Beijing. I came right back. I sent the communication to the NEC, and the NEC acknowledged it and forwarded to the financial secretary, Honorable Mo. Honorable Mo now came to me and tell me that she would not prepare financial document, my money, that voluntary fund to LSUIC. Brazil, wave that money, but we will not do that. I said, no, 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 no. I won't. In LSUIC, the prior year, I spent almost 10,000 on scholars. Let me say it so people can hear it. Almost 10,000 of my personal money from my pocket on scholars. I told Honorable Moore, their money is for me, that the money that LSUIC asked that I use, and then they will refund. So there is nothing about voluntary. And let me say this, all my trip that LSUIC, 2 times, the trip to Wuhan and that trip to the embassy, that the only 2 trips that LSUIC, all the other trips I made in LSUIC, it came from my own pocket. I said, if I'm invited officially to represent LSUIC to the NEC, LSUIC will take care of that responsibility. But as president, if I'm going to Beijing, maybe they invite me casually, or I need to go meet with Skylar, or I'm going to Darling like I did,
Okay.
or I'm going to other provinces, I will pay for my own pocket.
Mr.
Okay, Honorable
President,
Johnson. Yeah.
So in a
Yes.
nutshell, that money
Yes.
is actually documented and it was refunded. It was not something that was
Okay,
just
thank you.
done.
Thank you.
It
Thank
is
you.
it's been documented, and that money was
Johnson,
given to me fully by the former acting financial secretary with the
Mr.
acquiescence
Johnson,
of the National Executive Committee.
Mr. Johnson, thank you. Before I ask my next question, I'm taking you to the Constitution. Yesterday, one of the auditees said that this agreement was made in a meeting with the NEC members, and almost all of the members agree upon it. But let me remind you about Article 14. Under Section 1, the duties and functionalities of the national president. I'm
You
taking
don't
you
need to explain
directly.
to me, sir, because I know.
I am a JB member, and I'm telling you the Constitution, so you have to listen, please. So Article 14, Count 1, Section D, it says, the national president shall directly or indirectly through the secretariat informs the general membership about all decisions reached by the National Executive Committee. So before you make the decision about your reform, did you inform the student body according to this constitutional clause?
Honorable, if you read the Constitution in one part, then I'm sorry. But you have to reread that clause that you just read. In administrative functions, there are things that are done internally as a body. For example, the functionality of a council, what the council decides in the council. For example, some of the decisions, they cannot go and communicate it to the general
Excuse me,
student body
Mr.
through the
President, we are not
quarterly
okay.
meeting.
Let's
Excuse
have
me,
it like
no.
that.
Go
We
and
are not
read,
asking
no, go
let me go to
read
let me
Article
go to
13,
my
the
next question.
functions of the National Executive Committee. You will
Let me
understand that.
go
That
to my
will
next let me
explain
go
that to
to
you.
let me go to my next question. We will handle this later. My next question to you, Mr. President, from the period of 2023 to 2025 before your resignation, from all of the financial transactions, did you observe any financial discrepancy during that time?
Yes, and I flag it, and as for my opening statement, I dragged you through from the Genesis up until we did the comprehensive and evaluation and check and balances of the financial records.
Mr.
Yes.
President,
So how
I
many
can
times should I
report.
say this, Your Honor?
You are to
You can
answer
respond?
straightforward. Don't forget you are talking to the senior adjudicator, not
Sorry,
your
Your
word.
Honor. Sorry, Your
Okay,
Honor.
Mr. President, did you, in any formal or informal communication, tell any person or institution that a funding of 22,000 or 30,000 was missing from the institution? And do you have record to prove that if you said that before?
Honorable, you read it, yeah, sorry to say, but you read it taking me in circle, right? Because this was document that I went in that I presented here. I tried to read through detailing the even submitting this document. This you will see all of the figures here being broken down. All right. Maybe at the time you will not yet say, okay, it's particular individual and never account for this money like in the audit report because people came and it never accounted for this fund. That's why I can say with both chests here that that money was stolen. Because if you come and you cannot defend the missing funds, it means you stole it. So there is no, at the time it was alleged. Let me say this. When she came to the check and balance the first time, when she were out, what she said, she's not answerable to me. She only answerable to the national, let me say to whatsoever audit that will be commissioned. And followed by the time we had the joint meeting with the honor with all of the witnesses here that funds in those financial records that she never reported to the national treasurer and never turned over to LSUIC, I can definitively say those money were stolen.
Okay,
If you
Mr.
check
President,
this, if you check to answer your question, there were documents in circular Honorable President, Honorable and Senior Adjudicator, if you check there, you will see the figures that have been missing from LSURC funds stated clearly in this document, and all of
Okay,
the action taken by the NEC to be able to resolve them. Thank you so much, sir.
thank you, Mr. President. Lastly, under Article 14, under the same Article 14, one function of the National Financial Secretary is to report to the NEC, which you are the head of. So based on these financial discrepancies we are talking about, did you, as a national president, in any of your quarterly meeting from 2023 to 2025, inform the student body of these financial discrepancies?
Honorable, at the time, Honorable Moore has not turned over, or Honorable Tano have not turned over their check and balance, like they say that what you do, they'll put it in the computer and the thing that happened in the back end. They didn't log in or whatsoever. What the NEC at the time received, that they've seen document you received on the platform where you say first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, that the same document Honorable Moore will share with us. And when I go to check and balance, that the same document Honorable Moore will come with. So I don't know. Until we receive that document, we try to review it check by check, check by check. All the other documents now, we started reviewing it check by check, comparing and contrasting. There where now we establish, Honorable, and that's how we inform the student. And that's how you see some people and certificate were revoked. And there were now, from that positions now, we invited the National Treasurer, the National Financial Secretary, Honorable Mo, Honorable Tano, to come give clarity on these missing funds. Because Honorable Tano said, this money that I reported yet, I don't know about it. I did not receive it. So, Honorable Financial Secretary, you need to come and clear. You report this amount, but the Treasurer is saying she did not receive with her funds received from you. So you need to come and give clarity. And you cannot give clarity on any of the funds or the levied against you. Then what then should be the decision? That's what I said. If you check the audit report, I said it is still subject to audit. But for the National Executive Committee findings and for our findings, these funds were missing and not accounted for after giving all of the chance to prove your innocence and even appearing and not able to prove your innocence. Thank you. Hello?
Yes, we heard you. We heard you.
You can, Honor Chisma, I will ask.
Your Honor, before I go further, Your Honor, sorry if I didn't refer to you with your name. I'm deeply sorry, Your Honor.
Don't worry, it's okay.
Honorable JB, are you done?
So just let me just ask probably one question. Honorable Johnson, just yes or no, please. Did you turn over this document to the national president in person of Honorable Olanitia Blanc and the audit committee?
Affirmative. They were turned over to the national president. They were turned over to the audit committee. And there where I said, after the audit committee received this document.
Honorable Johnson, I don't want to go back and forth, please.
Yeah, after the audit, it's very important.
I'm coming. Did you give to the national president? You said yes. Did you give the document to the audit committee chair?
Yes.
Okay, because we met the NEC, I asked the national president if you gave him any document to affirm the 22,000 I was missing. He said no. So I want to clarify that on the record. Okay, thank you. I think that's all from my end.
Yeah, so Mr. President, sorry, former president, I don't want to cause trouble here. So, did you receive any money or spend money on behalf of LSURC during the 2023 and 2024 without the approval of the COC?
I understand.
There's a question that came. Yeah, there's a question that came in my inbox. Did you receive money or spend money on behalf of LSURC during the first quarter 2023-2024 without the COC approval.
All right. When you are talking about 2023, 2024, right?
Yeah, did you receive
All
any
right.
money or spend money? This is a direct question. Yes or
And
no?
I need to answer it. Yes. From the turnover ceremony that were held in, I think it was August 1. August 1, we were invited, I think it was based on impromptu. All of the chat will be sent by the then leadership. They said they need to have the turnover. And we had that meeting. Even there was even a tense situation that we had. When we received that money at the time, we never had the treasure. And that money was reported. Let me go back to it. You see the documentation. Am I allowed to share the screen here?
No, because of time, you will
Yeah,
just send
yeah,
the
I don't think we
document
have
to
to.
us,
Yeah.
So
please.
yes, and to answer
Okay.
the question without a COC at the time, I needed to appoint COC. COC members then were not to do that. Only one coordinator appointed say elected at the time in the COC. One. So there were no functional COC. I come in, please. After that, students came for loans. Students are in, at that time, people graduating. People need money to be able to sort issue. Some of the beneficiaries were, I think, Rita Timber, Miracle Nat, were the people that we gave our loan to at the time. Were there subsequent spending by the NEC prior to the COC approval? Yes. And I gave justification. The COC was informed. Even in our meeting, the COC said, Mr. President, you are the first president we have ever seen that take bullet for his member. Even when they are in the run, you decide to take the bullet. I tell the COC, say, for the mistake my financial officer made or my financial team,
Okay, it is
right?
clear. It
I
is
will
clear,
take the
Mr.
bullet.
Johnson.
Honorable Coco was the one that issued
Okay.
the bond.
It is
Thank you
clear,
very much.
Mr. Johnson. It is clear. So,
All right. Just for the record, please. Honorable Johnson, you said that you sent a document to the national president. I just received a communication that the president said if you can share the screenshot that you sent him document indicating that 22,000 was missing from LSUIC. So if it is available, you should send to us. You don't have to explain. You can
Honorable,
just send to us if it is available.
excuse me,
You don't have
please.
to explain.
Excuse me, please.
Okay.
This
No,
entire other document was shared with the president. For one fact, I will
okay.
say this again. I was not under the obligation to discuss
Okay.
anything with this president because I did
Okay.
not
Okay.
turn over to the president. But for the sake of LSUIC, I invited the president. I explained this financial record to him
Okay.
in big pieces. And during the time of the audit, I turned over the document to the president and to the audit committee.
Okay. Okay.
I
Thank you.
did
All
not
right.
turn over to Honorable Orlando Tiablo. I turned
Okay.
over
Yes.
to
Yes.
jury.
Understood. 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 Okay. All right. Thank you. Honorable Presiding, if it's possible, maybe we can bring this to an end for the first
yes.
presenting of.
Yeah, so let's just jump into the next section. Yeah, thank you, Honorable Johnson. And you will be reached out to in subsequent time for the next maybe John hearing or based on the JB decision. So it's over to you, Honorable Johnson.
Okay. So, Honorable Johnson, you can just give 2 minutes, 1 minute, please. We observing the time. Your final statement or your parting statement as we turn over to Honorable Mason for his presentation for the sake of time. Just 1 minute and the time starts now.
Thank you very much. And let me say a big thank you to the Judicial Board for the opportunity given to have this open hearing with all of the students. And it is my prayer, it is my sincere hope, not for a process to be instituted because it is based on witch hunt or to incriminate. It is my hope that this process is carried out to unveil whatsoever that have happened in the dark, that whatsoever that was wrongfully taken from LSUIC, that whatsoever that LSUIC may have suffered because of actions and inactions taken by members of my leadership, I will hope, I will pray that this process yield that results with honesty, transparency, and in compliance with the rule of law. Let God bless every one of us and let God strengthen us. Till I have the time again, I thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. The JB will get back to you during the proper hearing. The actual hearing, sorry, this is the pre-hearing. Honorable Mason, are you there? Sarah, we really apologize for the delay. If you are available now, you can just Honorable Mason, are you there? Honorable Noah D. Mason, National Financial Secretary General.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, we apologize for the delay. Honestly, apologize.
Honorable Jensen, please check the group chat.
Okay, all right.
Your Honor, am I allowed to leave, please, because I have other meeting to attend?
Yes, definitely. You can leave. If you want to, you can.
Yes, I have
So
other meeting to attend, please.
okay. Okay. Honorable National President, the chat section. I think we forgot about that today.
Yeah, please tell the president to log the chat session.
Yeah, sure. I think we forgot about that today. So, Honorable Mason, are you there?
I said yes.
Okay. You can go ahead, please. You can go ahead.
Good morning, everyone, because it's already almost 12. Am I being heard?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Well, I know raise both hands. I don't know why, so I will stop here and listen to.
Honorable National President, your hand is raised. Is there any comment?
Can you permit me to? Okay, can you permit me to end the recording here for the first session and then start a new one because it's going to be very long to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. No
Okay.
problem.